So, should we talk about integration bus on?
We should. So, all of you that are joined on time and you're welcome to Hersley. This is the IBM Innovation Center. This is the IoT lab where we do amazing, wonderful things, which has just been talking about, in fact, and is our new digs for our hangouts, which is really cool.
Yes. And
today I'm with Amy McCormack, product manager for IB. Do you want to, Amy, tell us about yourself?
Yep. So I'm an offering manager within the integration space. So basically, I look after how we deliver what we're going to deliver. So deciding on priorities, talking to lots of customers, and basically making sure that what we're building is actually going to be useful to our customers. That's what I do.
Fantastic. And before I forget, if you've got any questions, can you tweet them on the hashtag IBM Integration, and we'll pick them up as we go. So Amy, I guess the first question I should ask you then. What is IIB?
So hopefully a lot of you who are joining will already know, but for those who don't, it's probably best to think about integration before we dive into what integration bus is. So an organization has lots and lots of endpoints in it, and each one of those endpoints, so there could be an application, it could be some kind of data source or a data store, it could even be some kind of service, and each one of these endpoints talk kind of custom binary that you yourself have written. It could be some industry format like HL7, anything like that. They all talk over different protocols. So each one of your applications or data services or things like that could talk over a different protocol. And all we mean when we say integration is about how we enable all of those different endpoints to talk together so that you can achieve some meaningful business value with that data. Now, Integration Bus lets you do exactly that. So you can connect all of the different endpoints within your application, and we support hundreds of different types of endpoints, hundreds of different classes of endpoints, so that you can derive business value. So you can take information out of a database and surface it through an API to a mobile application, for instance. So that's what Integration Bus is. And it's been in the market for about 15 years, something like that. For those of you who are old school, you might remember it as WebSphere Message Broker. It was rebranded back in 2013 because we consumed some of the WESB use cases into IIB. And it's really a market leader in the field. So it's we've got a lot of customer installations, over 1,000 in production. So it's used across all kinds of industries, all countries around the world. So that's in a nutshell, that's what Integration Bus is.
That sounds awesome. So you've got a cloud offering for IB, haven't you?
We do. So this is something that's come out very, very recently. In fact, we actually GA'd it on the 30th of September. It is the integration bus we know and love, but it allows an administrator, so an IIB administrator, to deploy and manage integrations in a cloud environment. So with Integration Bus today, hopefully we'll come on to some of the deployment options that you have later. But at the moment, you build and deploy and manage integrations from the integration toolkit and a couple of other tools. But this really provides you with a web interface that makes it much, much simpler to actually deploy and manage those integrations. And because of the fact that it's a managed service, it means that we will manage the operations, we manage the hardware, we manage the entire stack right up to the software level, and we also provide that support as well. So really all you have to worry about is uploading your integration files and clicking on deploy and then having a look around to see whether or not they're working. We take care of everything else. So it's very exciting.
Awesome. So that's fantastic. So what's the value to the user being in the cloud?
Well, so, today, with Integration Bus as it is, and with a lot of products that you can use on-premise as well, you have to manage that software stack yourself. So not only does it take time to get a project off the ground. So let's use an example. I've got a new project coming up, and I want to get it ready and I want to get it deployed and into production very, very quickly. It's a new business imperative that's come up. Today, what I would do is I would send off a request for some hardware. I would have to spend some time configuring that hardware once it had been approved. I'd have to install the software onto it, do all the additional configuration. Then I would actually get to the point where I can start building it and start using it. And then again, I need to promote between my pre-production environment, my test environment, to my production environment. And sometimes that can take weeks, and even in the worst case, that can take months. Yeah. What Integration Bus does is it not only helps you speed that process up, so all you have to do is upload. That is the only step that you need to take in order to actually be ready to do something with that integration. Once you click on deploy, it's all there for you. There's no waiting around, there's no configurations, there's no nothing to do. Once you don't have to take care of that stack anymore, once you can kind of save time to do that, not only are you able to focus more on the business benefits of what you're doing, so the actual the needs of your business, building those excellent applications that are really going to make you a differentiator in the market. It means that you can also focus those resources. So instead of spending the time doing all the configuration and the kind of lower level tasks, you can actually start doing that stuff. We have a lot of experts who manage the stack. So we're running on top of SoftLayer. So we have a whole team in SoftLayer who are very, very familiar. They've been working with that technology for years, and they're managing that. So we have experts right across the stack that we have. So you can rest assured that your software and your integrations really are in the best of hands. And of course, you get IIB, which is one of the market-leading technologies for integration, in a fully managed cloud-hosted environment.
Fantastic. So, who would use it?
Well, this is predominantly aimed at the administrators. So it's the people who are going to be deploying and maintaining, managing those integrations on a day-to-day basis. But it's also going to be really useful for developers. To start with, we don't have an online development environment. So you'll still be using the Integration Bus toolkit, the integration toolkit today to do the development. But it's going to be much, much quicker for you developers to upload and test your integration. So like I said, you don't have to go through the time of making sure that you acquire and then configure that hardware. You can whack it up into the cloud environment, do some quick, simple testing with it if you wanted to, and then either pull it down to deploy on premise or deploy it to the cloud for your production.
Okay, so I can use IBM Integration Bus on premise and I can use it in the cloud?
Yeah, so absolutely. I mean, so they are compatible, so you won't have to make changes to any integrations that are running on premise in order to deploy those on cloud. To start with, we're not supporting all of the nodes that you're familiar with today in Integration Bus, but keep an eye. So the DeveloperWorks community, if any of you are familiar with that, if not, do a search for it. There are lists on there and links to our information centers where you can get information about what nodes we are supporting. So of course you can run those backwards and forwards. You can take those, port the assets between on cloud and on premise. But those aren't the only two options that you have for deploying integrations that you build for Integration Bus. So on premise, yes, of course, you can take your licenses and deploy them on whatever hardware or whatever we support. Whether that's running in-house or whether that's running on a data center off-site, and whether that's fine. We also have the option for bring your own software license to public cloud providers, so SoftLayer, Azure, Amazon Web Services, and so on. So there's greater flexibility if you wanted to deploy Integration Bus in a cloud environment. Now, the difference between taking your own licenses and this cloud Integration Bus on cloud offering is that the cloud offering, our Integration Bus on cloud, is fully managed. So we deal with all the hardware, we deal with all the software, we deal with the operations, and we deal with the support. Whereas the bring your own software licenses, there is a certain onus on a responsibility on the clients to make sure the product's installed, make sure the software is installed onto that public cloud provider's hardware. We do provide some example chef scripts to enable you to do that as well. So we've tried to speed it up as much as possible. But of course, you'll be responsible for your own operations, and of course, you can still come to us for support issues as well. So Integration Bus on cloud does take away some of the responsibility of managing the kind of upload process. Finally, the other options are IBM Pure. So Pure Application. So we have Pure Application System, which you can think of as a private cloud. It's a box that you can have on premise, and you can run your own your own private cloud. So we do provide patterns to enable you to run Integration Bus on that. And of course, you can also use pure application as a service on SoftLayer. So if again you wanted to have that responsibility taken away from you in terms of managing your own hardware, then you could deploy using the patterns to pure as a service as well. So we do provide a number of different options depending on what you want to do. But right from you having all your own hardware, managing your entire stack, and we just deal with the software piece, right through to it's fully managed. You don't need to worry about anything. We kind of take care of it. So yeah, lots of different options now for IB. It's great.
Fantastic. So I'm sold. Where can I find more information?
Okay, so this is available. IBM Integration Bus on Cloud is available exclusively on our cloud marketplace. So if you go onto Google and you search IBM Cloud Marketplace, you'll be taken to our marketplace. From there, if you can just look for IBM Cloud and you'll find it in there and you can sign up. We have a 30-day free trial, which is going to be really useful for customers who want to figure out and see whether it fits in with your business or not. Got a couple of interesting pricing models as well that you will probably be interested in. One is pay as you go, which is great for flexible workloads. So I mentioned about testing earlier on. If you want to do some quick testing with it, that's going to be a really great option for you. Or for longer term committed usage where you want to be running production workloads for longer periods of time, then we also have an option for that as well. And you can use the two together if you want to. So go to Cloud Marketplace on there. Also on Cloud Marketplace, you'll find tons of other offerings on there. So from our business partners, Bluemix services will be on there, as well as some of the traditional products that our Integration Bus customers will be familiar with seeing as well, like business process management and so on. Of course, you can use the DeveloperWorks community as well. I mentioned it before, just search on Google for DeveloperWorks IBM. We've got a big integration community in there, which includes a question and answer page, lots of blogs about Integration Bus best practices and so on. So two of the best places you can go to find out more about this offering.
Fantastic. I shall put the links in the notes.
Lovely.
Video.
It's great.
Well, thank you very much, Amy. It's been an absolute joy to talk to you.
See, that was it. 15 minutes. That's a crash course in Integration Bus on Cloud.
Yeah. Well, good to have you back again for another session. But thank you so very much indeed.
That's great. Thank you very much.
And thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.